Listen, folks, coming at you like I never left. And we're live. We're live. Welcome. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are. And if it's not shining on the outside, I absolutely hope that it's shining on the inside. And listen, like life, love, family relationships, all those things we talk about on the Mental Flight School podcast. And I couldn't be more happy to have, this live guest who I consider a brother, a friend, a great human being. A great human being, brother. None other than actor, writer, comedian, entrepreneur, and wherever you are, clap your hands, stomp your feet. You can do that now. Aaron, how you feeling officially?
I am official. After that introduction, I'm great. I'm great. I was fine, but now I'm great.
That's what take people up a notch. Man, appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I'm just gonna assume this is not true at all, but I'm pretending now that I flew you in Atlanta.
Okay,
flew you into Atlanta just for this interview because you've started in St. Louis. That's where the journey begins, correct?
Well, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, that's where you're from, St. Louis.
Comedy journey. Well, I actually started in college. In turn, I did only 2 sets. I was trying to get Mr. Cougar, and I won.
Mr. Cougar.
Our mascot was a cougar.
Okay.
And so
I didn't know if the mascot was a cougar or if older women were putting on the comedy show.
Well,
thank you for the transparency.
Yeah, I did have some cougars back then too. I'll tell you that. But yeah, man, no. So I just went up there, wrote some stuff down, and not standing up.
Really?
I was like, this is easy.
Do you remember any jokes from that set?
Do not. I know I was talking politics, which is crazy because I hardly talk about it now in my set.
Yeah.
I was talking about. I was doing some random stuff, man.
Talk to me about
talking about back then. I bet if I watched it though, I would be like, why did those people stand up?
Yeah.
That is awful.
Like, why did they enjoy that as much as they did?
Right. But when you were confident about stuff, because back then I didn't care. Like I said, I just went up there and wrote some stuff down and did it. When you're confident, then people believe in it. No matter what you're talking about. But when you're not confident, it doesn't matter who you are. After a while, people are like, my brother's not confident. You could tell one of Dave Chappelle's jokes unconfidently and get 0 laughs.
So, who do you think really quickly, who do you think is top 3 most confident comedians outside of yourself?
Outside, well, I wouldn't say I'm the most. So outside of me, the most confident comedian I've ever seen is Scruncho.
Scruncho, I've heard.
Scruncho commands the audience in a way. Like he jumps on tables, he just puts the mic up and just yells. And it's just, you're just sitting there like stuck.
What's gonna happen?
And you have to be confident because, and I don't want this to sound like a slight, his laughs to joke ratio isn't like, it's not like boom, boom, bah, boom, boom, bah. It's like boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. So to be able to hold someone's attention way longer and still get that like roaring laugh, he's a monster, man. So I would say Scruncho is actually probably the most like I don't know what to call him. I don't want to say cocky because he's not cocky. I don't want to say I just will just say confident. Just confident. And then after Scruncho, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
To me, he's like a comics comic. And people are like, oh, you put Scruncho because, just because somebody's famous doesn't mean they are the most of something. But Bill Burr, when I saw that set he did in Philly, and just they were booing him and he just kept going. Because what people don't realize, if you don't do your time, you don't get paid.
Really?
Yeah, so in their contract, even like say Chappelle goes somewhere, I mean, let's not say Chappelle, he probably, a notable comic, he's supposed to do an hour, she's supposed to do an hour. If they get off before like that 45-minute mark or whatever's in the contract, then they won't get paid.
No dice.
And so that set, he's like, I got 13 more minutes, you losers. And he just keeps going because he has to, but he also has the cojones to, because some comics were like, I don't care if I get paid.
I can't do this.
I can't take this. And the way he won them over, like, I think every comic should watch that. It's just
really
amazing. And then after that, man, we'll just say any comic that grows up in the Chitlin circuit or out of New York.
Yeah.
Or Atlanta or Chicago. If you come out of Atlanta, Chicago, New York, you're probably
earned your stripes.
Yeah,
probably.
Certainly did.
Especially if you had to be in Atlanta and had keys taken out on you.
Oh
That's
man,
the most.
bro, like that, I couldn't imagine. Like I've done shows in that environment, like old Uptown and stuff when I was a young comic. And what's harder is the hosts out here. Like literally, me and my boy, and I was young in the game, so I didn't know any better. We had a good set the first night, did great. So the host the next night does an hour in front of us, but not an hour of material, an hour of hey, who's celebrating anything? And so they all came to the stage. You celebrating a paycheck, you celebrating your birthday, whatever you celebrate, you come up. They did that for an hour, and then she goes, all right, y'all, this next comic, he did good last night. We're going to see what he did tonight, though. And brought me to the stage by my first name on.
Are you
Come to the stage, Aaron. I get up there, I'm tanking. And the thing about Atlanta is, bro, they feel like they're funnier than you anyway. So the only thing that saved me, man, I just said, well, I appreciate this Mortal Kombat that y'all gave me. Finish him. And I just did them. They fell out laughing, and I got off that stage. So, like, that's what you got to do. If it ain't going well, once you get that, get out of there. Don't get out of there, man. So
it's so funny. I will ask you, why do you think comedians do that? Why do you think people do that? Because even as a speaker, the majority of my audience is, there have been situations, not many, where I've been introduced. Like, yo, why would you
do that? Yeah. Hate.
Huh.
Yeah, there's hate. So for you, you know, you're incredible. And they know it. They looked at your stuff before you. Look, brother, when you come to town, whoever's working with you, this guy Stan, supposed to be good. Yeah, I hate that hat. That hat's so great. I wish I had it. Which, by the way, I'm upset you didn't wear the hat. I feel a little disrespected.
Literally, it's only 2 seconds away. I could certainly. I didn't know if it would be too much. I'm like, you know what? I definitely. You know, I'm gonna have you hold them. I feel naked without it. Not gonna lie.
Go get it, brother.
Yeah,
I got you. You know what it was? That's my brother. So he feels like he didn't want to show me up too tough, and so that's all that was. But I need the hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the real Stan, who is a great brother, but I want to be right here with the hat. It's legendary. It's amazing. But I think people do that because of hate, man. It's, you know, for me as a comic, and I didn't even know this was a thing, I'm an LA comic. So even though I did those 2 sets in college, by the time I got to LA, that's when I started comedy. And so when I go out of town, there's a target on my back because I'm a LA comic. Wait, hold on. There it is. There it is. Yes, sir.
I'm a gracious host. I am a gracious. Thank you.
Thank you for being gracious.
Anytime. I heard you talking about this then, like coming in town and folks feel like.
I didn't know that was a thing. And so I remember one time this dude was like, he was trying to be cool from New York. He was like, where you from? I was like, St. Louis. He was like, all right, I'm going to introduce you from St. Louis. Trust me. When you say LA, then I'll sit on you. I was like, really? And so, and I got one comic in New York. I didn't like him for a while, and then we got cool. Yeah. I'm not going to say his name. This dude introduced me so terribly. Really? And I struggled for the first 5 minutes, and then I started hitting. But he goes, all right, guys. After like some beast in New York just went up. Okay, everybody, this next comic is all the way from Los Angeles. He did me like that. Oh my gosh, bro. It was so funny, but it was not. And I was like, why is there this thing? It's not my fault. I chose to go to LA. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do what I'm doing. Like, it's crazy. So
it's funny. When I was, and I want to thank you in public. I mean, I thank him all the time, but you were the first person that like, hey, I'm doing this show. I'm putting you on it. You're on it, and did that a couple times. And it's funny because LA can also be a place where, like, yeah, whenever you're here, call me. We'll link up. You just hit me up. And, like, it's literally, I'm not even asking you. Like,
I didn't even ask you.
Yeah, so you suggested it. But the number of times, I mean, it was always, such a great time, so much love. And you never, which I think is cool, never treated me like I was just getting started from a comedy standpoint. And I think that helps too. Like, this person's new, like, yo, shut up. They may not know, they don't set me up. But yeah, someone that we both know introduced me at a popular comedy club on a popular night.
Oh.
And I just felt like, and I think I did better than I think anyone, but it was just like the introduction could have been so much better. And even afterwards, someone kills it, crushes it, and you have a chance to love, you know what I'm saying? To show them love. It's absolutely not what happened. Hell no. Absolutely not. Not going to say the name. It actually literally almost came out.
Yeah.
But it's people coming from different places. And I realized, I'm built different.
Yeah, bro. And that's why I always had love for you, man. Since I first met you, just always been real, down to earth, and looking to help people. And I think that's why people, this game, especially comedy and speaking, it's a single person sport. So everyone's looking out for themselves. You know what I mean? And so there's no group. And so what happens is, a comic, if you're a new guy, a comic will be like, oh, well, I don't want him to mess up my name or my show. So I'm going to give this disclaimer that separates me from him or her.
Wow.
And so for me, it's like, only if, like, say that I've had a comic who's their very first time.
Yeah.
And I knew, and they were like, oh, I'm so nervous. I was like, don't worry. That's when you tell the crowd, like, hey, look, guys, this is their first time.
Yeah.
Show them some love. And then the crowd was like, all right. But just to be like, hey, they knew it's a new Jack. Because they used to do me like that. And it's like, no, you're funny. You should be funny enough if I suck to go right back behind me.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the better it could be.
Yeah, exactly.
That much more fun. Amazing. So, it's been what do you enjoy most about it? I know you're an amazing writer, performer. I don't say this as you're one of my favorite comedians. I think you're hilarious.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, some of your sets, I could almost verbatim because it's real. It's Southwest Airlines from one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Probably one of my favorites.
So true.
But what do you enjoy most about, again, writing or performing, or one over the other, or in general right now? What do you enjoy most?
Yeah, I mean, for me, anything where I'm talking is easier. Writing requires a lot of thought, and it's great when you finally get, oh, that's it, that's the one. But there's no adrenaline rush to me, like, being up there and people listening to what you have to say and reacting from it. Like, that is pretty cool. And so I do miss the live audiences. Since COVID, I've only headlined one club, and it was cool. But since then, I've been doing Zoom. And Zoom's pretty good. It's like the closest thing you can get, But I miss the rush, man. There's an adrenaline rush that comes with being there with the people. So
I always tell people, I feel like that's one thing I think everybody should have to do. They should have to get on stage and do an open mic. I think you're a lot less likely to heckle somebody. I think, like, people who heckle, you're either a complete dirtbag who's never been on stage,
or you're a dirtbag who's never been on stage.
Yeah, or you're a dirtbag who's never been on. Like, otherwise, it's like you want people to win because you know what it feels like to lose. I definitely do. I've lost some. I'm doing a speech. Now, I didn't get booed. I'll tell you what, it was a hostile environment.
Give a speech. Oh my God!
Listen, it was like, not only did they not want to be there, it was kind of a favor I did for a friend, reduce my fee, fly out of town.
That's when it happens.
That's when it happens.
Favor I did for a friend.
Like, it kicked off awkward anyway because I was doing some local interviews for papers in the newspaper. Hey, so tell us, did you grow up in the ghetto? Do you still have, like, it was literally interviews. What? Like, what? That was the first time I've been interviewed, and it was like they were doing it on, it's predicated on stereotypical, story of Black men in America. Whatever.
Wow.
So that was the beginning. Cool. I go to this school, and even the lights in the auditorium were this bright. Some of them.
Oh, damn.
I was still like, it's real dick.
You heard that during the speech.
But at the time, I was much younger in the game. I'm like, everybody loves me. That's
right.
Like, everybody loves me. Coming here and crushing like 600 people, 600 students, at least half of which had no interest in being in the auditorium.
Mm.
And went in there, played music. I couldn't have played anything. I could have set myself on fire.
Oh my God!
They had some gang activity within the school as well, which I was not privy to. So some guys that were wearing like a certain kind of earrings. Or they weren't allowed to wear chains. So some guys were putting paper towels around their chains. So they knew what. So I'm making jokes.
Why even wear it?
I say stuff about the paper towel chain. I think it's hilarious. Clearly, everyone else certainly wouldn't laugh. They won't take any chance. I'm like, I'm crushing right now. Nobody's laughing because clearly I don't know my audience.
This dude's like, ain't homie, who laughing? Oh my gosh.
Turns out that was 9th and 10th grade. I was doing it back to back.
Ooh, you had to go after
I had to go again. I had to go to 11th and 12th grade. And so instead of like 600 people coming in the second one, it was more like 800. Why? Because 200 of the people that were in the first session came back.
They came back
for the
for
second
more?
session because anything was better than going to class.
Oh my God. Oh man.
But that allowed me to be like, everybody isn't gonna love me. You got to know your audience. Got to be ready to crush who's ever in front. It was such a learning experience. I'll never go back there again.
Bro.
It was.
We learn from when you do favors, and we have to do, like, good people do favors, man. But I'll tell you, I learned the business the hard way. I used to give all churches discounts and stuff like that because they try to sucker you with I'll do it for the Lord, man.
Is the Lord gonna be present?
Right. The Lord gave me this talent to make money. He said, I'll make room for my gift. So I remember doing this one. So I had did this men's conference and did great because they were grown men. And the guy there was like, oh, brother, you were awesome. We'd love for you to do our fellow Christian athletes. We're going to have it at UCLA. And I go, okay, what's the crowd going to be? He's like, oh, don't worry, man. It's mainly it's going to be mixed, so all kinds of kids and high school age. I was like, okay, cool. And at the time, I wasn't great with kids, but I could do high school age. If there's going to be Black kids, white kids, I could do that. Yeah. Nope. 2,000 white 7th graders. From 7th to 9th grade, maybe. And I'm sitting there, and I bet you he remembers this to this day. He's an NFL quarterback now. I think he was at USC. I forget his name. But he's giving the keynote speech. And out of the entertainment. Bro, I got up there. I didn't know what to do. When I saw this, 7th grade white kids. At that point in the game, now I know how, I'm more diverse and everything, but I was only in the game for 3 years doing the chitlin circuit. I was doing this comedy club called The Dynasty where it was 70-year-old pimps who went and sat there just to not laugh. These are the rooms that I was doing. And so I walk in there, I tanked for 10 whole minutes.
People you have no idea how long 10 minutes can be.
At all. Could you imagine? 10 minutes is like an hour. I'm stinking it up. Now, before I did my set, that he reached out to me every day for 2 weeks. We're praying for you, brother. You're going to do so good, this, that, and the other. Man, when I got off that stage, 2 of the kids said, oh, he's awful. And out of 2,000 people, you could hear them because no one was making any noise. I was like, all right, thank you. No claps from the administrators, the students, And the two kids are like, somebody said, he's awful. The other one said, he sucked. And I couldn't be mad at him. Like, I did suck. And then the NFL quarterback, when I sat down, he just hit my leg like that. And I had to stay though. You know what I mean? Because like that's I had to stay there after this.
Like you're walking shame, but
I had to sit in the front and just just sit there. I'm barely breathing at this point. So when I leave, man, I text, and this was the lesson. I text the guy. I was like, man, I'm so sorry. That didn't go like I expected. You know, I apologize. And whatever. Never heard from him again. Now
he did reply though.
Never
I'm not laughing at you.
Never replied to me. This is the same guy that hit me every day and said he's praying for me. And then the Lord is going to use me in a major way. So after that, I was like, oh, this is a business. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the church, if it's corporate, when someone hires you to do the job, they need you to do that job. And if you don't do the job, it's all good. It's business. We'll never hire you back. You won't be, you know what I mean? And so I learned a very valuable lesson. I'm just grateful I had another show that night, because if I didn't, I might not be sitting here with you today, bro. I was able to get that off me quickly. Yeah. It's just like playing, like I hate to be in the NFL. You got to go 7 days after a loss
without trying to prove yourself.
That's tough, because the NBA, it's like, we play again Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, no, you got to wait until next Sunday, maybe even Monday. And if I didn't have another shot quickly, no telling what I was going to do.
Or a fight strength. That's really powerful, and that lesson that you learned in general.
Yeah.
And this isn't just with comedy or speaking, but with everything. Like, much of life is about business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think sometimes people let their emotions get in the way of understanding that?
9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. And it's in corporate, in a lot of different areas. They let their emotions get in the way, and we make bad decisions because people can't see past themselves. And so, whether it's your coworker, whether you have a manager that doesn't understand, people have a very difficult time seeing the big picture because of their emotions.
Thank you. And the listeners tuned in and mentioned that, said that's, it can mess with your mental health. So when you hear the words mental health, what comes to mind?
Honestly, and so I have a personal experience with this now. Pre-COVID, when I heard the words mental health, I thought either people had a serious, just issue, or they were just weak-minded people. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And now
that COVID has happened, and I moved to Pittsburgh in July during COVID, a place I'm not from.
Yeah.
And so I literally didn't see another person outside of, folks that basically I didn't see another person that I knew or was my friend until October.
July to October.
And then that was only for a week. And then from October to March. And then from March until now. And so 3 times I've seen people that I know and that I know has love for me.
Yeah.
And so, man, I found myself just in the room, looking at the wall like, can I make it through this? You know what I mean? Am I okay? Like, talking to myself, I always talk to myself, but I'm a comic. Like, I'm expecting laughs back. They're not coming. And I found myself like going to the gas station just to see people and hear their conversations. I was waiting in line. Whereas before I was totally LA in that I hate lines. I'm skipping the line. I'm not going anywhere unless I know the. Bro, I couldn't wait to get in line just to hear people like conversating. And so it has let me know a lot. Their mental health is a serious thing. And, I just thank God, man. It's nothing but his grace and friends like you who like when I be at my wits end, I would pick up the phone and call, because otherwise I could see how if someone doesn't have a good support system, that they could do some serious damage to themselves or end it all, man. So
thank you for that transparency. It's this is, because I think that anyone who has not grown during this period of time has been, I know a few people, we're not as close friends anymore. We're not, it's interesting how you just kind of drift away.
Yeah.
But there are folks who have not grown at all. And part of them, like, how could you not have grown in some way? And beyond that, to your point about, it's, I was driving downtown, once, again, whether it be homeless folks who are often judged and they have all kind of stories. This guy having, again, a full-blown conversation. And it was the most thoughtful I had been in my own mind. Like, I get it. Like, think about not having anyone to, you have, because we talked to ourselves and been alone, low moments, what have you, and literally just talking to yourself for this pocket of time. Now, what happens when that turns into a year, 2, 3, 4 years, however amount of time? Like, you can very easily find yourself talking to yourself, giving answers. It was, again, it's a thank you for sharing that, because it's funny that there are people who, I want to say what the thought is, the more you live, the less you judge.
Yeah.
And there are folks that, again, what I'm saying all that to say, that still don't understand, and they might even be going through the same thing in some kind of denial. Like, no, not me.
Not me. I'm good.
Yes, you too. Yeah. All right. Because you're good until you're not. We don't even know when you're. Now I'm going to ask you one more question, but before that, it's funny. I was in this group discussion and conversation about going from 0 to 100 real quick. That was. But then after some dialogue, it's like, does anyone ever go from 0 to 100? Or we're already at 60 or 80, and something happens, boom, like you wake up with stress, anxiety, so they hit you, there's drama, there's TV, there's news, whatever it is. So you wake up, let's say you wake up in the morning, you watch the news, and we all know death, murder, whatever. You're 3%. A text message come through that's, you're 50%, man. Whatever, 70%. Then when you lose it,
bam.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was a discussion. As we have a couple more questions, and take it up.
Well, to touch what you were just saying, the 0 to 100, I think that's why we all need like therapy, because not every. I mean, I personally have a therapist now. Just I've dealt with a lot, with divorce and all kinds of stuff. So got a therapist, and what happens is, I think people think they're at 0. And because, the Bible even says the heart is evil, wicked, like who could know it? And that doesn't mean like that, just everybody's just, we're inherently evil. If you don't believe it, look at kids. They will punch you in the face and not care unless you teach them that you can't do that. But when you look at that, that's talking about how evil and wicked it is. But think about it on the other hand, when it's saying who could know it. So like in your heart, you could think like, I'm good. I'm a good person. Everything is okay. But what it's saying is like, you don't really know yourself. That's why if you don't believe that, like think about how you thought 5 years ago, and then 5 years before that, and think about where you are now. And it's like, if you're a sane person, you probably think, gosh, I was an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're successful, like the stuff that we
Why did I do that?
Why did I say that? So we don't really truly know ourselves as well as we think we do. And that's why therapy helps, because you're talking it out and you can hear yourself, and someone else with an outside opinion who like is not your parent or your girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband can give you some instruction. And then you find out like what's really in there. So I think people don't know, and they think they really are at 0.
Yeah. And then obviously there's social media that can help you hide.
Oh,
some of these things.
A bunch of likes, you feel great.
I told someone, and now I get to back to your point. I said, this notion of, again, body positivity and confidence in that way. And I had to let someone know that whatever you do is fine, but being willing to be half naked on social media doesn't translate. That doesn't mean you're confident. It can actually mean the complete opposite. And that's why it's always important to understand your why, or different things that I do. I'm really asking. That wasn't out of judgment. I'm just in my mind. Always asking why. Like what? Because we can do things again just for that adrenaline, just for the likes, and it sounds commercial, but it really is a real thing when it comes to understanding who we are and getting to know ourselves. It's funny because I do once a week a group counseling session with it's for Black men.
Okay.
Yeah. So once we get, and it's interesting because we don't apologize. Like that's part of the thing. Like just say what you want, what you need to say. Let's have discussions about what have you. And it's funny because I apologized a lot in life, whether I thought I was right or wrong. I just apologize. So it's interesting being in a space where it's like, no, don't apologize. It's just like, whoa, okay. But I'm there because even growing up, my mom would say, hey, baby, it's all right to talk to someone.
Yeah.
If you have someone to talk to. Fast forward again all these years and talking to different folks. But my wife was like, you know what? There's this group that needs you. So I'm like, I got me. I don't need no group. And then one day I was like, fine, I'll do it.
Right.
And I've just been committed.
Man.
Like I told them the other day, I'm like, I saved my life in different ways because people need someone to talk to.
We do.
People need someone to talk to.
And not the committee.
And
not the yes. No, stop talking to those people.
You gotta stop talking to those people.
They're not helping. So
gotta stop talking to those people. It's in understanding the brain better and thinking about cognitive pieces and then the emotional piece. People really, and this isn't like being it's someone you see them, they get saved and then now they're better than everybody else.
Oh my gosh.
Respectfully.
Yeah. Look at you.
Right.
Over there drinking. Bro, you just bought me a shot last week.
Literally, you just bought the shot.
Hilarious.
But as I've just really been trying to get people to just learn more about their brain. Like, and how positive, how powerful the brain is.
It's very powerful.
The mind is. Like, literally what you watch, what you listen to, what it becomes you.
Yeah, so true.
It becomes you. What advice you have to somebody? Let's say, they want to improve their mindset, but maybe they do all those the opposite. They listen to things that might be harmful. They watch things that might be harmful. What's some advice you have to someone who's trying to find their way? Because I really think, in this shift, people kind of want to be better, but it's not. I still feel like it's not necessarily popular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not mainstream.
Right.
To some degree. But what advice? What can you?
For me, it's actually something you just said, which reminded me of the book I'm working on called "The How Ain't None of Your Business," and I'm probably going to put the how isn't any of your business and then cross out isn't ain't so that people know like
I can see it.
He's not an idiot, but like this is. And I came up with that book because for so long, Stan, I didn't know the answer to that. Because everything I was doing was like, well, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to do this? And how am I going to get to another level? When you worry and focus on the how of things, the motivation then is unstable for what you're doing. Because how am I going to get it? Well, I don't have money. So I would go gamble and try to get money. Because instead of figuring out, okay, here's my why, here's what I have going. So then now I believe, because I understand my why, that this is going to be taken care of. But if I don't know my why, all I can rely on is my how. And so when you were talking about the why earlier, it's like you have to understand your why in order to go to the next level. If you don't understand your why, you might be a grinder, you might work hard, and then you're going to hit a cliff. And then, that's how you see the flip side. That same person is like, oh, y'all sinning, y'all doing this. I've seen people like that.
Yeah.
5 years from now, back doing all the stuff that they were accusing people of, because they didn't understand truly why they were saved, why they just had an emotional feeling and connection.
Yeah.
How do I get to heaven? Well, I gotta believe. Okay, so I'll do that. Not why. When you understand why he did what he did for it, then it's a totally different ball game. If you don't understand that, you're gonna eventually hit a cliff, and it's gonna be decision making time, and you're gonna jump off because you don't have any other thing to hold.
Don't know how.
So yeah, I would say you're finding out your why. That always brings me back to center. Even when I start tripping and get all over the place, my why. What's funny is what'll happen is when I'm like, oh man, I'm sulking in loneliness or something. I'm making bad decisions. Somebody will send me a clip of something that I did or said, and I'm like, man. And then it brings me right back to why I do what I do and why I can't do these things anymore and why. And so when you know your why, it's just clear. You're just rolling. So,
man, love that. Thank you so very much, man. How can people get to, before that, really quick, like, what's next for you? Like, what's next for you? Mention your book.
Yeah, so my book, that is in the final editing phase before I send it off to a professional editor. And so that should be out this summer. The how ain't none of your business. You ain't gonna forget that. And then also we're doing a reboot of Laugh to Love. And what that is basically a funny look at race in America. And so what we do is we medicate with the laughter, and then we talk about some real stuff. And then when it gets too real, medicate with more laughter. And it's really been it's been awesome, man. We did it live, and it was amazing, and we were doing it all the way up to the presidential election. And so now this summer we'll be working on getting it back, because this is America. This race issues is something that's not going away, and we see there's a lot of people that are hurting, man, because they don't know how to express themselves about those things. So those are the next two most important things that I'm working on.
Yeah, love it. Thank you very much. How can people find you on social media, connect with you in some way, or keep up with you?
Hit me at AE Comedy. AE Comedy on Instagram. That's basically where I post everything and kind of do everything from, man. So
love it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Feel like I did a real interview.
Hell yeah, you did. Hey, I'm the best to ever do it with the best folks here with me right now. Folks, remember that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to make some progress, because effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. That being said, remember 365 and 1/4 days a year that you're good, you're great, you're worth it. You have to say that to yourself every day and believe it far more than I want you to believe it for yourself. Have a great day, y'all. This is Stan Pearson II. You're your first. Peace.